Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Salebox for the 29th of December 2012. My name is Totalbiscuit, rounding up your daily Steam deals. Apologies, I'm a little bit sniffly today for whatever reason, so I'll be somewhat more nasal than usual. But the show must go on regardless, so what is up in the Steam deals today? Once again, these will be available for 48 hours, and there will be a new set of deals every 24. If you missed yesterday's deals, they're still ongoing, and you can find them in yesterday's Salebox video. Alright, let's kick it off, shall we, and find out what's going on today. Firstly, the Galactic Civilizations Franchise Pack, 75% off, taking the pack down to $6.24, €5.24, and £4.55. Actually fair across the board there. Is the pack worth having? Well, the thing is, at least in my opinion, Galactic Civilizations 2 Ultimate Edition is pretty much better than GalCiv 1 in every way. So, honestly, I would kind of recommend not picking up the original Galactic Civilizations and just getting GalCiv 2. That said, if you've never played either of them, then you'll probably get a little bit of extra enjoyment by playing the original game and then the second one, and you're not exactly paying an awful lot. You're paying like $1 more, or your regional equivalent, for whatever that pack is. So, yeah, it's hard to quibble over $1, honestly. You do get an extra game, and then you can just play that one before you play GalCiv 2, which is, in my opinion, a better game. What is it? Well, it is a turn-based 4X strategy game, and it's actually really, really good. It came out a number of years ago now, and as far as I'm concerned, it is definitely worthwhile. The Ultimate Editions come with all of the expansions, and GalCiv 2 had 3 of them, so there's an awful lot of content here. Pretty easy game to learn, honestly. It does have a nice cosmetic ship designer, although if you ended up like me, you'll probably waste more time doing that than you will playing the actual game. The event system is where this game really shines. It actually has a kind of morality system whereby you encounter a lot of different random events, and then you have to decide what to do. So that's pretty cool. It's got a lot of character to it. And as far as I'm concerned, there haven't really been all that many good 4X games lately, so GalCiv 2 probably stands out as the best one over the last few years, so you could definitely do worse than trying that one out. Let's move on, shall we, to Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind. That's anywhere between 75 and 50% off, depending on the game in question. Needless to say, Skyrim is 50% off, whereas everything else is 75% off. Let's have a look at the prices. Well, it takes Skyrim down to $29.79, or €24.82, or £17.37. Now, Dawnguard will set you back $9.92, €9.92, or £6.94. Now, I should also point out that if you don't wish to buy it from Steam, you can purchase it from Gamersgate for the same price, and you will also get a little bit of cash back in the form of their currency called Blue Coins, which can be spent on other games and just redeemed as a discount. So, technically slightly better value over on Gamersgate. You're going to have it on Steam anyway because it is a Steamworks game. Good price for Dawnguard. I don't know of anywhere you can actually get it cheaper than that. Unless you are in the UK and actually buy it on disc, then I believe you can get it slightly cheaper. Skyrim, man. I don't know. I've said it so many times already that I believe Skyrim is very much an ocean with the depth of a paddling pool, and the reason that I believe that is that it's this really amazing world that's awesome to explore until you realize that nothing changes at all depending on what you do. And that, to me, is incredibly frustrating. I want the world to dynamically react to what I do, even if it's just completely staged and scripted, and this game just doesn't do that. It seems like the NPCs are flat out oblivious to what you're doing all of the time, not to mention the extremely boring randomly generated side quests and the fact that pretty much the solution to everything is at the bottom of a sodding dungeon. So, there are a lot of problems with this game, but there are, of course, many, many people that really, really like it. Dawnguard's supposed to be okay, if not great, and the modding scene for this game is, needless to say, very good. So, I would expect great things coming out of Skyrim eventually, but it's just an unreactive world with a lackluster combat system, really pretty graphics, and a great world to explore, but personally, the immersion was broken pretty early on for me. As regards to Oblivion and Morrowind, well, you know, they're pretty ancient. I actually kind of liked Oblivion. Not a bad game, although it does suffer from exactly the same problems as Skyrim has in terms of the world not reacting to what you do. The Oblivion gate system is bloody awful, and you'll get bored after the first couple of them. And the combat system sucks, but there are a lot of mods to make that better, so if you haven't picked up an Elder Scrolls game, I'd probably end up starting with Oblivion, mostly because Morrowind may be a little bit too old to actually appeal to you, even though it's considered by many to be the best of the series. The Witcher franchise, 75% off across the board, taking it down to $7.49 or $2.49, depending on which edition you get, €7.49, €1.99, and £4.99 and £1.75. The Witcher 1 is pretty good. It's got a few problems. Like, I think the combat system is probably the worst part of it. I really, really despised it. It's more of kind of a rhythm-based combat system than anything else, but it's got a great story that is well told. And the Enhanced Edition Director's Cut has a bunch of extra content, and all of the voice acting was redone to make it not be awful. Witcher 2 is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best RPGs that I've had the pleasure to see on PC. It is not a game that I've had a lot of time to actually play. I've played maybe 5 or 6 hours of it, and I loved what I played, but as I said, I haven't really had the time to crack my way through it, so do take what I say with a pinch of salt there. But as you can probably see from the critical acclaim that this game has had, it's a good one. It really, really is. Not only that, but it has been enhanced with a lot of extra content at no extra charge, which is flat out wonderful. The price on Steam is actually the lowest across the board. It's even lower than GOG, the actual publisher of The Witcher 2. So this really is a great deal, and I couldn't recommend it more. Just bear in mind that you may need a PC that's capable of reasonable power in order to actually play this game properly. It's very demanding. It is a very good-looking game, one of the best on PC, so it is certainly understandable, but don't expect to be playing it on your netbook anytime soon. Payday the Heist, 75% off, taking it down to $5, €4.74, and £3.74. Now, this game kind of went under the radar for a lot of people, and that's a shame because it's actually pretty fun. The notion of the game is that you have to complete a heist of some description and do so in a wide variety of different ways. You do so in co-op, and you have to complete various objectives, fight off the police and the various special police forces that come at you, and then get away with the loot. It's pretty great, actually. It's surprisingly fun, and it's really tense. It's got a lot going for it, and if you play it in co-op, it's very, very entertaining. It's definitely got a big Left 4 Dead feel with it, honestly. But it does what it does well. It's got some interesting and unique mechanics, such as taking hostages and releasing them for extra lives, as well as a wide variety of different heists and operations to actually take on. Your guys also level up as well, so you can pick different skill trees. Plus, there's a little bit of DLC available in the form of the Wolf Pack, which has 2 new missions, as well as a bunch of new upgrades and weapons. Yeah, I would recommend this, honestly, although I would pick it up from Amazon if you happen to be in the US, because if you do, it's going to cost you the same price, plus you end up getting that $5 credit. So you buy a $5 game and get a $5 credit towards their sale in January, which, once again, is great, and more often than not, we are actually seeing Amazon be able to match, or indeed beat, in some respect, the deals from Steam. And there's really no disadvantage in actually using Amazon if you happen to be in the US, especially since this is a Steamworks game. So you will have to play it on Steam regardless. Unfortunately, it is not available to those outside of the US. You can use a US billing address, but I have heard of people getting their accounts banned for that, so let the buyer beware. The Bioshock franchise, 75% off, taking it down to $10, €10, or £6.99. Alright, first things first, if you are in the US and have access to Amazon Digital, do not buy this game on Steam. The reason I'm saying that is you can, for the same price, acquire those 2 games and Spec Ops in a bundle called Desert to Sea. Comes with Bioshock, Bioshock 2, and Spec Ops The Line. So, that's a much better deal. It's the same price, and yet you get an extra game. If you are, of course, just looking to pick up Bioshock 1 or 2, then just bear in mind that the bundle doesn't actually save you any money at all. It actually doesn't. In fact, it costs 1 cent more. yeah, that's great. So, honestly, again, there is no point in buying it on Steam when you can get the bundle plus Spec Ops for the same price. Also, it's not a good price in Europe either. As you can very clearly see, it's the same price in euros as it is in dollars. So, not so amazing. Yet another recommendation. If all you want are the 2 Bioshock games and don't want Spec Ops, then you can get it for half the price over on Amazon. So it's $5 versus $10. I mean, come on, really? Yeah. I think you can see that that's a really, really good deal. Plus, you get that $5 credit. Although, do bear in mind, if you happen to be a stickler that wants all their games on Steam, then the ones that you get from Amazon when it comes to Bioshock are not Steam games. To me, honestly, that's kind of an advantage. The game already has secure ROM DRM. The last thing I want is a second layer of DRM that could potentially go wrong. But hey, some people like the convenience. The PC ports of these games were pretty good. Not great. There are a few fixes that you can apply over on PCGamingWiki.com. Bioshock 2 was definitely a better port than the original Bioshock. Both games are pretty good, but they do lack somewhat on the actual shooting aspect, which is a little bit weak. And also the games are a little bit too easy as well. Even Bioshock on its hardest difficulty is pretty easy to beat once you get past the first couple of hours and actually get the upgrades and weapons that you need. And of course, if you scavenge, then everything you need is very much plentiful. But I do enjoy the atmosphere, and I definitely enjoy the actual level design of both of these games. I'd say Bioshock 2 is actually the superior game when it comes to combat, whereas Bioshock 1 actually has a better story. And finally, the GTA franchise, 75% off across the board. There doesn't appear to be a franchise pack, so you can't get the whole lot as part of a bundle, which is unfortunate, but the ones you're probably going to be looking at are GTA 4 Complete, as well as San Andreas and Vice City. So GTA 4 Complete will set you back $7.49, €7.49, and £6.24. The Complete Edition comes with the 2 DLC, that being Lost and the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony, both of which are pretty good. I'd say Ballad is probably the better DLC, especially since it introduces a lot of very silly things that the original game does not have. And, well, let's be honest, GTA 4 took itself just a tad too seriously. Vice City is probably still my favorite game of the lot, honestly, which will set you back $2.50, €2.50, and £1.49, with many people saying that San Andreas is the best of the series at $3.74, €2.49, and for some reason, £2.49 as well. So, again, not a great deal for the guys in the UK. So just bear this in mind with GTA 4. While it's been optimized a bit, it's still a Rockstar port, which means it's pretty bad. That's unfortunately the curse of Rockstar. They have no idea what they're doing with PC these days. So, on some people's machines, this game ran absolutely fine. On others, it ran really badly. It seemed to be pretty random. Like, people with high-end machines would have it run badly, whereas people with lower-end systems would actually have it run fine, which is really, really odd. However, there is one reason why I would get GTA 4 on PC, and that is the IC Enhancer mod, which is an absolutely astonishing modification, which completely redoes the graphics and makes the game look incredible. A new version just came out a couple of days ago, and it is absolutely beautiful. So you want to be Googling IC, that's the two letters I and C, so IC Enhancer. And if you have the graphics card for it, then this is going to look great, especially if you're into car porn, because that's what they put the majority of the effort into. Realistic cars based on real-life models, and they look astonishingly good. They really, really do. This would appear to be the best place to get it. I can't find it cheaper anywhere else, so yeah, give that one a try, and then download IC Enhancer and see how it goes for you. I think you might like it. And finally, let's have a look at today's deal over on Green Man Gaming, which is still running its 30% off coupon. So what you do is you take that coupon code that's on the screen right now, you dump it into your checkout. There's a little box that asks for the code, and then you will get an additional 30% discount on top of what you're buying in the first place, which means that you are going to get a ridiculous, ridiculous price. Today, it's Spec Ops The Line, and that will set you back $7.49 or your regional equivalent. Throw the 30% off coupon on that, and you get an even bigger discount. It is still a Steam game, so it will go on Steam, and it's just going to cost you less. So if you had a look at the Bioshock pack earlier and said, well, you know what, I already own Bioshock, but I want to try Spec Ops, then this is the cheapest price I've ever seen for it, and I would highly recommend that you check it out. Alright folks, that's me done for the day. Thank you very much for watching the Salebox. Sorry I'm a bit sniffly, hopefully that'll clear up by tomorrow, and I will see you next time.